Would you believe me if I said that the TCS Nasik case, this story of rape, stalking, forced namaz, forced beef consumption, and 4 years of systematic abuse inside one of India's largest IT companies has a bright side? A silver lining? Well, here's the thing. Among the 9 FIRs, 8 are from female employees. They have the POSH Act. They have the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. They have section 69, 75, 78 and 79. And then there is the 9th FIR, filed by a man. This man was forced to offer namaz, forced to eat non-vegetarian food against his will, forced to recite the kalma. His religious feelings were outraged. And that is the bright side. Because this man was not sexually harassed. Hello, hi, salam or namaste. Welcome to MQM 24/7. Today, we thank that this man was not stalked, not sexually harassed, not sexually exploited. Because if any of those sexual harassment incidents had happened with this man, his FIR would not exist. In India, a sexually harassed man does not legally exist. The Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013 under POSH. Now read the name carefully of this act. Women at Workplace. Not people, not employees, women. Section 2A of the act defines an aggrieved woman and, I quote, a woman of any age, whether employed or not, who alleges to have been subjected to any act of sexual harassment. The internal complaints committee that every company must form, well, legal jurisdiction only covers complaints filed by women. If a man walks into that committee and says, I'm being sexually harassed, the committee will politely tell him, sorry sir, you're not covered under this act. And they would be legally correct. So POSH is under civil law. Now let's look at the criminal law. The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Let me go to section 63, rape. And I quote, a man is said to commit rape. A man commits, and then the acts are described as committed against her will. Not against his will, not against their will, against her will. The offender is automatically always by default a man. The victim is a woman, period. Now let's go to section 75, sexual harassment. And I quote, a man committing physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overtures against a woman. Again, man commits, woman receives. In the old Indian Penal Code, there was section 377. It criminalized carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman or animal. Yes, it was problematic. Yes, it was used to target LGBTQ individuals. The Supreme Court decriminalized consensual gay sex in 2018 through the Navtej Singh Johar judgment. But here is what everyone is forgetting. Even after that judgment, Section 377 remained in the IPC for non-consensual acts. It protected adult male victims of sexual assault. It protected transgender persons. It even protected animals from bestiality. Now, the BNS has deleted Section 377 entirely, completely gone. And what has replaced it? Nothing. Let me paint you a picture. A man is sexually assaulted, not a child. POCSO protects children under 18 regardless of gender. But an adult man, he goes to the police station. He cannot file any case under Section 63, which is rape. Because in India, that is reserved only for women. The man cannot file any case under Section 75, which is sexual harassment. Because in India, that is reserved only for women. The man cannot file any case equivalent old 377 because that section no longer exists. Well, there is no relevant provision in the BNS, unnatural offense or sodomy. The only way that works out is by registering a case under sections of hurt. Basically assault, grievous bodily harm, those are the sections used. The same sections you would use if someone, say, punched you. Sexual assault is not a punch. Sexual assault is a crime in a category of its own. But the Indian law in its current form no longer recognizes that category for men, for transgender persons, for anyone who is not a woman. Let that sink in. Rape of a woman, the accused gets up to 10 years to life imprisonment. Death penalty also in very severe cases. In the case of a rape of a transgender persons, 2 years punishment, maximum. And this is not just about sexual violence. The Indian legal system systematically neglects men across the board. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, a landmark legislation for women. There is no parallel law for male victims of domestic violence. None. If a man in India is abused by his wife, by his partner, by his family, he has no dedicated legal remedy. The man is told to file assault charges under the BNS, the same assault charges that I mentioned previously of a punch. Now, consider dowry laws. Sections 85 and 86 of the BNS, the successor to IPC Section 498A, were designed to protect women from dowry harassment. Much needed, extremely crucial. But according to the NCRB data cited in legal analysis, around 10,000 out of 90,000 to a lakh dowry harassment complaints turn out to be false. The Indian law in its current form allows arrest of husbands and in-laws without due investigation. The burden of proof falls on the accused, not on the complainant. I will bring up the Atul Subhash case at this point. The Bengaluru-based engineer who died by suicide in 2024. He allegedly faced harassment from his estranged wife, exorbitant financial demands, and false claims. Atul Subhash's death was a symptom. The decease is a legal system that presumes guilt based on gender. Alimony, child custody, the scales are visibly tilted. Men are ordered to pay even when they are the primary caregiver, even when they are financially dependent on their spouses. The presumption is that women are the weaker party. A presumption that might have made sense probably in 1900s, but is definitely outdated in 2026. Let me be clear once again. We do not say that these laws are incorrect or not needed. All we are talking about is these laws need to be balanced. When a legal system only recognizes one gender as capable of being victimized, it creates a new class of victims, invisible, unheard, and not protected. Coming back to the TCS Nasik case, that male complainant, he has filed his case under Section 299, which is deliberate acts to outrage religious feelings. Gender neutral, applies to anyone. His FIR exists because of Section 299. In the unfortunate case, if this same male victim had also been sexually harassed instead of or in addition to religious coercion, his FIR would not exist under any sexual violence provision in India. No POSH, no BNS, no Section 63, no Section 75, no Section 377, because it no longer exists. So yes, the bright side of this entire TCS fiasco is that a man was only religiously coerced and not sexually harassed. Because in India, a sexually harassed man has no legal existence. And that is not a bright side at all. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and stay tuned in to MQM 24/7. Jai Bharat, Jai Innovation.